Hello everyone, and welcome to something a bit different. I'm sure you've noticed that since starting this channel, well, starting uploading content again, that... Ooh, I'm gonna need to try and remember the controls to this. That I've been uploading 2 videos of a certain thing, so far this week. At least I think I've got 2 videos of each thing up. Quickly check my no, okay. Yeah. Well, effectively everything's going to be getting 2 episodes. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Well, that leaves me one day where nothing is happening. That'd be Friday. Today. Well, I figured I'd grab a random game and play it. This, as you saw, is Magic Sword. It started as an arcade game. This is the SNES version. I just need to try and remember controls. Okay. Now, I'm just going to be playing through this basically until I get a game over. That may make this a 15-minute video. It might end up being a 20-minute video. Be a 30-minute video. I'm just gonna be playing. I might pick a spot and stop if I feel I've recorded too long. And don't ask me what many of these items do. This is a game I've mostly just played off and on since I was a kid, and never really paid that much thought to researching anything in it. I just know this big guy likes giving you food, but he can't duck. I quite like the archer lady here. Ow. That wasn't good. I'm gonna have to kill all of those wolves. Here's the first boss. There was a trick to him, I just can't remember. Is that right? I remember what it was now. My partner will get hurt, but I might... She might be close enough to him now to... No, she's not. Well, she'll suck my life out. She probably. Actually, time my attacks a bit better. Yeah, this is a game I played a lot when I was younger. And there's the first boss. Now, anyone who's played this and didn't know that trick, I bet I kind of just blew your mind. Because that boss is slightly difficult if you try to fight him without abusing that. And at the end of the stage, we get our score. I only really know the trick for fighting that boss. I'm pretty sure there's a trick like that for every boss. But I really don't know what it would be. Because, I won't try and hunt for secrets. I can't remember where they were. I can't remember a lot of this game. That's gonna be probably the theme of this commentary, is basically I have to relearn this game. Pretty sure that's the ninja dude. I'd normally take him, but I think this was enemies? No, this was the mage. I'll grab him. Because the mage is an interesting, or the white mage here is an interesting companion. His little green balls track enemies. At the stage he's at, he's, fairly weak. And yeah, I know the audio is probably a bit screwy. That all comes out with how I have to record this. Because I will admit this is on emulator, because while I own the legitimate copy of this game, my Elgato does not like... Well, it's more my TV does not like the SNES, which I will also admit Earthbound is emulated, even though we do own it as well. These little statue things always kind of freak me out. One thing I do remember is if you walk to the left here... Ow. Forgot that was a thing. There's a little potion thing. I forget what they do, I just know it's a bit of score to pick it up. I am already slightly running out of commentary here. Ooh, this guy. That mushroom will paralyze you. Whoops. That guy is basically a thief. From experience, I know that slowdown is not because of the emulator, it's literally because of the game. Here's something that always... They just come out of freaking walls to ambush you. And yeah, I'll just be opening up most of these chests. Oh, Lord. I'll actually take her back, because as you may have noticed, the mage's little balls will go up towards the chain balls, or the chain ball things that come down, because they count as enemies. So his attack will target onto them. Yeah, see right there. The poisonous mushroom will numb you. Well, that's what that mushroom was. Normally, if I hadn't messed up that first fight, you'll notice down at the bottom, next to the item, it says the level of my companion. Well, normally, she'd be a higher level right now, because she wouldn't have died in that first fight, and I would have just hung on to her. Here's the ninja again, which is why I normally take him, is he can be leveled up kind of quickly. Here she is, the red heart gives a level, and this little blue orb, yeah, that's just score. This little blue orb lets you see hidden items. I forget what items are, though, so I tend to accidentally pick up something else when I don't mean to. And it overwrites the little blue orb. Everything does something. Something wicked is nigh. I believe that means this is a boss floor. Yeah, my item's gone now anyway. Glove-ish things. Yes, this is a boss floor. This game will always give you this before a boss. Basically a fairy that gives you 3 healing items. An urn. Now, auto-walking in. I am the line of the great dragon. I'll put an end to your little adventure. Well, I hope not. I've only been recording for 8 minutes. I can't lose here. Well, I suppose my first death won't be a game over, but... Oh, I timed that wrong. I cannot time that right today. Well, that should always be a red heart. There we go. You hit him when he dashes down at you, he'll end up flying back up into the sky. And yes, you may notice my companion is kind of working against me here. Yeah. Well, there's my first death. I have 3 continues. Because when... Ow. When she gets hurt, she drains my health to heal herself. So... your companions will kind of work against you when they get hurt. And it kind of makes having them a bit of a double-edged blade. Because on one hand, you have a bit of extra damage output, but on the other hand, if they're hurt, you're gonna get hurt too. And, you know, it can be a bit annoying. I don't know what it does. At the end of every boss, you get a new sword. The swords give you more damage when you attack things, but enemies also are generally tougher as you go on, so you don't tend to notice much of a difference unless you don't upgrade your sword. Like, say, if at the end of this I purposely got hurt and went back to my previous sword, I would definitely notice a difference in the damage output. There's a nice way of basically just building up your score. I should have tried to milk that for everything it was worth, but... I did it! I destroyed the dragon! Yes, this muscly guy did. Because this is an old game. Thus, you know, the protagonist is a muscly guy in his underwear. And games are sexist nowadays, apparently. What? I accomplished what I intended, but not the way I intended to do it. I was just trying to jump up there. It's over here. The big coin. I won't get into that whole debate. And anyone watching, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just joking around. I try to avoid arguments. There we go. Those blue hearts, I think, heal your companions. And if I remember right, there's an item that makes the hearts drop more often and such. Boy, I am just really messing this up. I see the Let's Play curse is finally starting to get to me. That hit was worth it. That enemy constantly appears and disappears, and he can be really annoying. If you can't manage to kill him, he'll just kind of stick around. He's kind of like a bad odor. Here, as each of these floors are really short. The White Wizard can defeat even undead creatures. Yeah, that's one thing the White Wizard has going for him, is he deals extra damage versus undead enemies. And if I remember right, some bosses are classified as undead. So, he can be a nice companion to have if you're going into those bosses. This Black Wizard here, he has an attack very similar. This is another wizard that's equally annoying. The Black Wizard has a slightly different attack to the White Wizard. He still fires little energy balls, but the energy balls, yeah, that's a trap chest. I remembered after I hit it. The energy balls the Black Wizard fires out, he always fires straight ahead. So it's a bit of a different thing. And yet the Lizard, I really like him, but he's kind of useless. And you need to have a specific item for the Lizard to join you, because the Lizard is an enemy. This one. Yes. I'll open this cell just because I can. Yeah, you've noticed probably by now the number of ninjas. So one up part there. Food for me there. That is a level down heart. You don't want to touch those. Yeah, if you have a diamond ring when you defeat that guy, he'll crouch down and throw out an item. So it can be nice just to have a diamond ring if you can find one, to just try and keep it. Right there what I did was my X attack. It's basically, it uses a bit of your health to just deal damage to everything on screen, kind of like that slightly, well there's a diamond ring, like that kind of blocky looking thing, fizzle effect. It does that, but it drains a bit of your health to do it. It said the King's Knights are held on the next floor. Ah, the Knights. Okay. Ow, I forgot that was a trap. It's a good idea when you hit a chest to step back. There's a dead end. On this floor, you can get basically the best companion. But you need to go right out of your way to get him. And I'm gonna go over, but I'm not gonna take him, because at this point, I'm a little too invested in the Amazon. Now, if I can survive, this is probably slightly painful to watch, and I'll know when I'm editing it. What that does? Oh, that was a full line of health. Okay. Yeah, if you come over here and open this, Knight comes out. Usually he'll throw you a shield. That's actually what I was hoping to throw. He basically throws you a copy of his shield. He is basically the best companion. There is some argument to be made that some of the others are better, like the Amazon here. Or the big barbarian dude that I've commented always gives you food. Well, generally always gives you food. Sometimes he just gives you a coin. But if you want the easiest run through the game, you want to grab that guy. There's a reason they put the door right here to tempt you just to go straight through, is that companion is rather good. This next floor, there will be a lot of traps. I always check behind me when I go through a door. That wasn't exactly worth it, but I forget what this does too. I don't remember really anything from this game. Yeah, that chest can be a bit annoying if that Knight guy gave you the shield. If you pick up a weaker shield, it'll overwrite your the shield you have. So sometimes, you know, if he gives you that shield, maybe this floor isn't full of traps. I remember it being full of traps. Open little fairy. I believe the one on the left always gives you food, the middle one always gives you a key and a couple items, and I forget what the one on the right gives you. Your water, let's hurry. I kind of like the music here. Yeah, that's the one secret I remember. Like, just every time I played through this game, I always remember that chest was there. Partially because I remember being... I first played this game before the internet was a big thing. I mean, the internet was a thing when I was younger, but it wasn't something that everybody had, and my family especially didn't. I should have waited a few seconds to touch that. But I found that chest completely on my own. I was actually the one out of my family to find that one. Because I'd always get to this stage and I'd just mess around. Because, you know, I'm a kid. I'm not actually, you know, I'm interested in playing the game. I just don't have the attention span to finish it, kind of thing. Or in this game's case, the patience to replay it over and over again. That still stands, by the way. I can't watch a movie to save my life. I don't have the patience for it. I'm the kind of person that likes to be up and doing things. And if I can't, it just kind of annoys me, and it's like... Evil seems to fill the air. Be careful. I think this is another boss floor. Yeah, if I can't be up doing things, it just bugs me, so I can't watch movies well. I have, for some people, sat and, you know, struggled through a movie, basically. I hurt myself there because extra score, and I'm basically balancing out on life anyway. I believe... You're just in time to relieve my boredom. Come, let's play. Let's play indeed, my friend. No, yeah, this is another Chimera. You can't actually use the same trick on this guy. Yeah. Or maybe you can. Oh no, I remember why you can't use the same trick on this guy. This. The developers wise up to your antics, and, yeah. This is an example of pretty good game design, and those coins are really slowing the game down. It's hard to now get back into that spot now that I've gotten out of it. but the developers know that you'll... Okay, how to describe this? Effectively, think of that little corner strat, kind of like... Well, it's probably the first strategy you'll ever figure out for beating that first boss easily. So, think of it as your first-order optimal strategy, or FOO strategy, for short. I am paraphrasing extra credits here. But the developers realized that this type of enemy can't get close to the edge of the screen, like this boss. So, they gave this boss not only to differentiate it from the first boss, but a different attack that requires you to move and take action against the boss. So that you can't just beat this boss the same way you beat that last, that first Chimera boss. If I wasn't so terrible, I probably could have beat this one a bit easier. But, yeah. Effectively, the developers basically thought ahead. This game is full of a lot of rather good design, and I really like it for that. No, excuse me, I just finished a drink. Excuse me again. I keep hitting the wrong button. I keep jumping instead of attacking. Oh right, this is just a bridge full of trap chests. And enemies to bait you into hitting the trap chests. It's kind of tricky like that. Chimera. That's what those are quite called. That's probably what that one was called. You can get another shield. And yeah, when you continue from death, you'll generally get armed with a shield for the area you're in. I was hoping to hit that last enemy. Well, that last wolf. Because the wolves always drop something if you can kill them, but if you don't know they're coming, you'll probably have a hard time killing them. Generally, they drop food. So, if you get hit once, it's usually not a bad thing, because I believe the one hit from a wolf isn't actually as much as the food they'll drop will heal you for. I could be wrong. I'll probably, if I am wrong, I probably saw there in editing. So, because I can't exactly pay attention to my health. That gives me something to talk about. It is an interesting experience playing games with vision problems. Particularly my vision problem, which is something I should probably have glasses for, but short story, I took a hit to the face with a really too small dodgeball when I was younger, and it hit me directly in the eye. It was small enough to do that. And I've had a hard time seeing out of that eye since. But we've never exactly had money to have anything done about it, so I've kind of always just gone without anything helping me see. So I'm sure even in the vlogs you noticed, I tend to look with my left side closer towards things, and my head's with a slight tilt. That's so I can... Basically, I'm compensating for not being able to see out of my right eye. But you'll notice, the one thing you'll take for granted when you can see everything is that you can keep an eye on your health and, what you're doing. But say someone like me or someone, I'm willing to bet even someone with glasses, can't as easily do that because peripheral vision just isn't something they've got. And it can be a really interesting experience, and this is something that a lot of newer viewers likely won't know. I've tried my hand at game development. I'm still trying my hand on it, actually. And it's actually impacted the way I design things. Because I design games for people like myself, as a lot of indie developers undoubtedly do. That means I put a lot more things on the left side of the screen than the right. And I've actually had people play a few demos I've built, and the response I generally get is, well, that was, I couldn't easily tell what was, they couldn't easily keep track of everything. But I've kind of learnt how to, for the most part, keep track of things. Yeah, that bell basically just spawns enemies. As much as I can't keep track of things well, I can still kind of do it. I know I'm mostly just rambling here, but I'm just trying to mostly continue finding stuff to talk about. Because the game here doesn't really give me a whole lot to talk about. The gameplay doesn't really change up much. This game isn't really full of that many differences in kind. And no, I don't really know where I was going with my last topic, so I am just going to drop it. Because I was just really starting to ramble. This is just a floor of loot, basically. And yeah, I should probably explain that, because I just said a difference in kind. You know when you've been playing a game, and you get through, say, a really tough combat encounter, and after you're done, there's just kind of an empty room where it gives you time to catch your breath? That's a difference in kind. They're changing up the gameplay to basically give the player a break, so that they're not just overwhelming the player with stuff. Grab this fairy. Ooh, I think I was actually slightly too close to the middle there. Yeah, learning about game design has made playing games a lot more fun. And I know, for some people I talk to, it's made listening to me play a game, if it's a game that has a lot of what I see as bad decisions in it, it probably makes it quite infuriating. And kind of what I mean by that is something like Fallout 4. I am not a big fan of that game. I am, however, a pretty big fan of Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. I realize Fallout New Vegas doesn't have the most fans compared to 3. It's kind of a spin-off, but I feel Obsidian did a really good job with it. And I actually kind of feel that Bethesda just took what Obsidian did well with New Vegas, and what the modding community wanted, made, and just went, hey, let's just try and make a game entirely about the modding community with what Obsidian did well mixed in. Because one of the biggest mods for New Vegas, last time I went looking, was a settlement mod. It let you build your own settlements. This was before Fallout 4 was released. And yeah, companions stopped leveling up at 8 here. Ow. I'll just jump through that. That little blue orb, I should note, has kind of a random effect to it. If you've been paying attention, which I doubt many people are because I'm just rambling about things, if you've been paying attention, the first time I grabbed one, a fairy showed up and dropped food, and that time a lizard showed up. It always feels like it's the pits of a demon. I think next floor is the boss floor. It might be this one. I'll know here in a minute. These chests are right here. Nah, this is giving me too many keys. If the game gives you keys, it's probably not a boss floor. But yeah, I could go on and rant about Fallout 4 for a long time. Probably the biggest thing that bugs me... Hey, those little scorpions can paralyze you as well, or numb you. It basically prevents you from attacking. The biggest thing that bugs me is the power armor. How they handled power armor. Now, it bugs me more than probably the average Fallout player, because I am what I myself call a power armor warrior. Black Wizard's magic has no effect on undead creatures. I actually forgot about that. Yeah, the Black Wizard can't hurt undead creatures. But, stay on the topic. I'm terrible for this. Anyone who watched my short-lived vlogs knows I just ramble. Anyone who knows me in real life knows I tend to just ramble about things. But yeah, I tend to, in every Fallout game, wear power armor from the moment I can get it. And I've just come to accept that to get power armor means you're joining the Brotherhood. To have power armor be so different, it bugs me. So yeah, hidden chest right there. I actually forget what was in it. I think it was just a coin. Yeah, and also just to be able to wear it? What? You know, how? In every other game, you need power armor training to wear power armor. And I could see the male protagonist being able to wear power armor because he served in the army, from what I can gather, from what little of the story I paid attention to. Because it was just so one-dimensional and bland, I couldn't stay with it. But I could understand him wearing it, but his wife? When did she ever get trained to wear power armor? She's a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. What reason would a lawyer have to know how to wear power armor? And random bandits, how do they know? They weren't even around then. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I mean, if you were stumbling across, say, like, NCR power armor, the stuff that even lore-wise has been modified so that the average person can wear it. I could get that. And the Raider stuff, I could kinda get it. But at the same time, well, even the NCR being able to modify the power armor, it's more they just took stuff out of it until they could actually use it. But, it just doesn't make sense lore-wise why you can wear power armor without any training. And another thing that doesn't make the most amount of sense, at least to me, let's make it through the door this time, and this is just turning into a ramble about Fallout 4 thing. I promise after I get through this thought, I'm gonna try and get back to just talking about this game. I might eventually do just a Fallout video on Fallout 4, I've yet to decide on that. But, another thing is, with Fallout 3, well, with all the Fallouts, really, the games do a good job of explaining how you're able to use guns. Myself, being someone who has never fired a gun, never even held a gun, I wouldn't be able to just pick up and work out how to use a gun. Well, I might be able to work it out eventually, but it would take me quite a while. How does, once again, the female protagonist, she's a lawyer. Now, she might have, went to shooting ranges and such. And that, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure she has like a law degree or something. It's one of the interactable things in the start of the game that I wasn't too heartbroken over, because I had no reason to be attached to the family. But, how does she know how to fire a gun? How does she know how to work it when she just picks it up? That's kind of always slightly bothered me. I mean, say, just using Fallout 3. In the vault, you practice with a BB gun. So it's, it would be acceptable to think that you were taught by probably the security team how to fire, say a 10mm pistol, given that's the most common type of pistol. But, and in New Vegas, you're a courier, so you'd be knowledgeable of the wastes. You'd know how to fire a gun out of necessity. Oh, here comes the boss floor. But in Fallout 4, the female protagonist doesn't have a lore reason to know how to fire a gun. Now, as I pointed out, I did not mean to pick that up. As I pointed out, she might have very well spent some time at the gun range. Her husband might have taught her how to fire a gun. And I'd accept that, but the game never tells you that. You know, even if they just made a comment from her, you know, the female protagonist. I'm just gonna pause here. I want to finish this thought before I continue on into this boss fight. If the female protagonist had, say, made a comment when you first pick up the 10mm in the vault, if she'd made the comment like, all that time at the shooting range is gonna pay off, I guess. You know, because you've already been encountering rad roaches, you know there's things that want to kill you there. That kind of comment wouldn't be out of place. And it would have solved that problem, but I should get off this topic. I've been rambling about Fallout 4 for quite a while now. Back on to talking about Magic Sword. This is probably the first boss that ever gives me trouble. Welcome, mortal man. It was kind of you to come. My sons are hungry, and now I won't have to hunt for them. I really like the music here. It's got a nice beat to it. Now, from my personal experience, you'll want to be on these platforms. You hurt these enemies by hitting them in their blue spot. Up on these platforms, you have basically the most, opportunity to jump over them and to dodge around them. Standing on the ground, you're basically, you're at a bit of a disadvantage because, well, they fly. At least this puts you up in the air. It does mean this fight does take a little bit, and I think after this boss fight I will end off the video because we're going on 40 minutes. Hopefully this will have shown a bunch of you, if you're new to the channel, which, I haven't been uploading a lot. With the vlogs, I generally tried to keep it short so I couldn't ramble like I just did, but, I do tend to ramble. So that might end up seeping into other games, but I'll try and always pick games that give me something to talk about. And I'm actually now yeah, this boss is really easy. As I say that, how did I ever have problems with this boss? Oops. It flies the same pattern every time. It's about to come around that way again. Yeah. I'll try to always pick games that will give me something to talk about. I do eventually want to, at the very least, show off the Ogre Battle games. The older Ogre Battle games before they became Tactics Ogre and just a straight-up tactics game. Because I much prefer them as, they originally were, that being Ogre Battle 64 and Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen on the SNES. We once again own both of those. Own them both physical and virtual consoles, so on the Wii U. Yeah. I don't know how I ever had a problem with this boss. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to end this off here. Mostly because I've rambled for a very long time, and I might actually be cutting out a few bits of this. Not entirely sure. But I'll probably, every Friday, do this sort of thing of just grabbing a game and playing it as a one-off. I might play games to give my first impressions of them. Sometimes I might pick a game like Magic Sword that I played when I was young, just to share it with people. So, with that said, I thank you all very much for watching, even more so if you stuck through this whole thing. I commend you for that. I'm probably going to have a hard time watching through this to edit it. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow for more Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So, happen tomorrow. I know that just dated this, but that should tell you when this was recorded if you're watching this in the future. I shall see you all then.